Assalamualaikum. Let me introduce myself. My name is Noella Dayana binti Muhammad Rusdi. My number matric is A22A0509. I'm from class AFT 1023 L3, which is subject Fundamental of Management. My title of the assignment is First Scholars Fundamental of Management. There are several elements and content, namely introduction, biodata of scholar, theory, advantage and disadvantages, differences between two scholars, and finally the Let me introduce the introduction of management. Management is the process of planning, organizing, leading and controlling the effort of all members of the organization by utilizing all organizational resources to achieve their organizational objective efficiently and effectively. The management or management verb management comes from the Italian managere, which is to address because the name is derived from the Latin word manus, which means hand. According to Summerset Center 1999, define management as the process of achieving organizational goals through the use of labor and organizational resources. And according to Bartol and Martin 1998, also define management as the process of achieving organizational goals through planning, organizing, leadership and control. But next, Patrick Winslow Taylor was born on 20 March 1856 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in United States. His father was a lawyer and his brother Edward was non-practicing physician. Problem observed that abstention from labor was the convenient evidence of wealth and therefore the conventional mark of social standing. However, this career path was incompatible with Taylor's fierce drive for achievement. He limited privileged upbringing. When he was 12, his family traveled to Europe for 3 years. His father compensated by tipping generously to improve service. Taylor became convinced that money was effective from changing working class behavior. In 1872, Taylor enrolled in Exeter Academy. It was feeder school for Harvard University, where he was expected to attend and pursue the law. His occupation is as a mechanical engineer in the United States. He died on March 21, 1915 due to pneumonia. He was given the title of Father of Scientific Management and he was one of the management experts. At first, he carried out the scientific management movement to study the work process scientifically. These studies show how a job is carried out and how the productivity of an employee can be affected. Among his famous work in this field of management are the Principles of Scientific Management 1909 and Shop Management in 1912. He also presented his testimony in front of members of the Special House Committee. Frederick Taylor introduced a reward system for employees who meet the standards set by their respective organization. As a result of the concept introduced by Frederick Taylor, employees who cannot meet the standards and target set will be removed from the work circle system after being under control for a certain period of time. He applied a lot of scientific methods to solve problems in factories and encouraged the use of appropriate technique for labor force, tools and machine and the use of appropriate time. This will indirectly optimize and simplify a work and can increase productivity. He also introduced a system of scheduled breaks to reduce work fatigue. Frederick Winslow introduced 4 main principles which are known as scientific management principles. The first principle is that each element of main work should be scientifically developed. The second principle, the worker for each type of work should be scientifically selected and trained. The third principle is that management should heartily cooperate with the men to ensure that the scientific methods are being followed. The last principle is that management should take over all the work for which they are better suited than the workers, leading to an almost equal division of work and responsibility between the management and the workers. In addition, there are also other principles that are not widely introduced, namely movement determination, work specialization, planning and meticulous scheduling, meticulous and wage-intensive staff selection and hiring. Mary Parker Fowler was born September 3, 1868 in Quincy. She inherited an independent income 1885 which helped to pay for her education and afforded her freedom of action later in life. In 1868, she graduated summa cum laude in economics, government law and philosophy from Radcliffe College and having spent a year at Newham College, Cambridge. In 1866, while she is still a college student, she published a study on the Speaker of the House of Representatives, which explored a method used by effective Speaker of the House to exert their influence. Fowler became part of an elite Bostonian circle of writers, academics, lawyers, and politicians. She was an American social worker and a management consultant. She also was a pioneer in the fields of organizational theory and organizational behavior. Fowler was educated in political science and spent much of her career in community and social work. Mary Parker Fowler participated in local recreational, educational, and advocacy groups where she developed her idea of participatory democracy. Fowler developed such original, penetrating analysis of leadership, power and authority, conflicts, and group behavior that her ideas form the basis of much of our modern discourse about organization and management. She was authored a number of books and numerous essays, articles and speeches on democracy, human relations, political philosophy, physiology, organization behavior and conflict reduction. Mary Parker Fowler, or the mother of modern management, believed that management was the art of getting things done through people. Though she never managed a for-profit enterprise, she offered valuable insight on the importance of powering with rather than powering over and integrating with employees to solve conflicts. Leadership is not defined by the exercise of power but by the capacity to increase the sense of power among those lead. Fowler once said that the most essential work of the leader is to create more leaders. Fowler practiced these principles of coordination that help develop their theory of management. Mary Parker Fowler introduced 6 main management principles, namely principle of direct contact, principle of early stage, principle of reciprocal relationship, and principle of continuity. Moreover, the fifth principle is group power, and lastly is the goal. Henry Fowler was born in Istanbul, Arabia, Turkey in 1841. His father was an engineer who was appointed building supervisor for the construction of the bridge above the Golden Horn Galata Bridge. The family returned to France in 1847. He began his father's profession as an engineer. He studied engineering at the École Nationale Supérieure des Mines Academy in Saint-Étienne. Henry Fowler began his career as an engineer at the Compagnie des Commentaires Fauchambault de Cazeville Mining Company in Commentary at the age of 19. Henry Fowler is considered a thinker of modern management theory, and among his most famous work in Administration Industrielle et Générale 1916, which was widely acclaimed both in France and abroad. It was reedited several times in France and translated into 13 languages and introduced as the term Fowlerism. He emphasizes the functioning of the organization as a whole and is capable of mobilizing the organization to achieve its goals. Fowler's theoretical rules of management appear to point out the errors committed by the army commanders. Before the end of the war, Fowler arranged for 2 publications written by one of the officers that criticized by the way the war was conducted to be published. Fowler's work is widely considered his unique writing theoretical contribution, and during his lifetime he wrote 15 works on management. He also left many handwritten manuscripts which were given by his family to the Fons Fowler at the Fondation des Sciences Politiques in Paris. According to Henry Fowler, the direct function of management is to plan, organize, staff, direct, and control. In 1878, Henry Fayolle was invited to present a report on the burning of the water-exposed gold. The report was well received, and the result was that Fayolle had a good reputation. He has been an influential man in the field of mining. In 1888, he, the managing director of this mining company, hired more than 10,000 staff thanks to practical knowledge and expert management skill. Henry Fayolle is excellent at guiding his company through difficult times. Under his leadership, the company became one of the country's largest industrial manufacturers for steel and iron products in France. There are 14 principles introduced by Henry Fayolle in field of management, namely distribution of labor, discipline, unity of order, prioritizing organizational importance, authorization, consideration or instruction, payment of wages, and centralization. Other than that, principle of government change, arrangement, personal stability, initiative, balance, and lastly is seizure. Max Weber or Maximilian Karl Emil Weber was born in Erfurt, Prussia on April 21, 1864. After finishing high school, Weber began his study at Heidelberg University in 1882. He then had to serve in the military service for 2 years before resuming his study at the University of Berlin. He completed his study by obtaining a doctorate at the University of Berlin in 1889 and began his career by joining the faculty of the University of Berlin as a lecturer and government consultant. Max Weber was appointed professor of economy at the University of Heidelberg in 1894 and was appointed to the same position at the Heidelberg University in 1896. His research at that time focused solely on economy and the history of the law. Max Weber was associate editor of the Social Science and Social Welfare Archive. He also published a paper in the famous journal, The Proteus Ethics and Spirit of Capitalism, and received many critics and eventually published it into a book. He is one of the 3 sociology founders, together with Karl Marx and Emil Durkheim. He is a sociologist who studies organizational activity. He also developed a theory regarding the structure of authority and relation. Max Weber was the founder of the German Society of Sociology and served as treasurer in 1909. He resigned in 1912. He also failed to try to organize a left-wing political party to integrate Social Democrats as well as liberals. At the age of 50, when the outbreak of World War I, he volunteered to serve in the military hospital in Heidelberg as a reserve officer. From 1916 to 1980, he strongly opposed the goals of the German Organization war in favor of strengthened parliament. Although Max Weber is well known for his contribution in the field of sociology, he is well known for his management theory. The theory of bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is defined as a concept in the field of sociology and political science that refers to the method or administrative and law enforcement that has been made in an organization. The main objective of this bureaucracy is to make the organization administration affairs for more efficient and efficiency. Each employee is given equal treatment, a system of control whereby the rules are intended to control the entire structure and process of the organization, and in addition, technical knowledge is also required to achieve maximum efficiency. The ideal organization is a bureaucratic organization which is main principle of the theory of bureaucracy: specialization, official regulation, hierarchical structure, trained workers, management dedication, and management equality. Next is 6 principal theories of bureaucracy that introduced by Max Weber is specialization. Number 2, official regulation, hierarchy structure, trained workers. Number 5 is dedicated management, and lastly is equality in management. Next is advantages and disadvantages of 4 scholars, which is Frederick Taylor, Mary Parker Follett, Henry Fayolle, and Max Weber. Advantages theory of Frederick Taylor is it can increase the productivity of an organization, train employees to be good employees, which is respect each other and be motivated and have a healthy competition between employees. Therefore, for the disadvantages from the theory is it will treat workers like a machine and conducting supervision of employee skill. While for the next scholar is Mary Parker Pollard, advantage from her theory it is can increase employee engagement, support cross-team employee collaboration, encourage the flat hierarchy structure and allows of flexibility, while the disadvantages is not a specific theory or strategy. Doesn't always work, wouldn't be effective into the larger companies and franchise. Henry Fayol have several advantages, which is productivity, efficiency created by labor. This method is more aimed at developing the potential of the workforce and able to prepare a work plan. Other than that, for the disadvantages is this theory has a no social need and managers will look down on individuals under them. Lastly, for Max Weber have several advantages from the theory, which is have a clear hierarchy of power and job specification, get a clear description of the job according to the qualification and skill, and equality in the provision of services, while the disadvantage is difficult in coordinating the various tasks carried out by each employee, including ensuring the product produced by the organization and formal hierarchy, and tendency to management practices in the form of power centralization. Henry Fayol is the father of modern management, who presented 14 principles of management to improve the whole administration. On the other hand, Frederick Taylor is the father of scientific management, who developed 4 principles of management to increase overall productivity. Henry Fayol introduced the concept of general theory of administration. Frederick Taylor put forward the concept of scientific management. Henry Fayol emphasized the way top management works, while Frederick Taylor emphasized how production level management works. Fayol's management theory has universal applicability, unlike Taylor, whose management theory only applies to a number of organizations. The foundation of Fayol's theory is personal experience. Instead, Taylor's principle relies on observation and experimentation. Fayol oriented the management function. Instead, Taylor focused on production and engineering. The wage payment system defined by Taylor is a system of different deduction rates, while Fayol emphasized the sharing of profit with managers. Taylor's approach is called the engineer's approach. On the other hand, Fayol's approach is accepted as a manager approach. In conclusion, I found that the 4 scholars have their own special features and introduce their own theories. Each theory that is introduced has its own goal, which is to improve every weakness in the management of an organization. Based on 4 theories from 4 leading figures in the field of management, we can see that Mary Parker Pollard, known as the mother of modern management, was initially a politician and has produced theory related to management to help managers resolve conflicts that occur between employees. Shifting leadership is the capacity to increase the sense of power among those who are led. The best job for leaders is to create more leaders, while Max Weber, although he is famous for his contribution in field of sociology, he is also famous for his management theory, which is priority theory, which refers to the method of administration and law enforcement made in organization. Therefore, there are some comparison between Frederick Taylor and Henry Fayol in this management theory. I choose Henry Fayol as a figure in this field of management because theory of bureaucracy is compatible with today's management administration. Henry Fayol has introduced 14 theories to facilitate management, such as dedicated manager, trained workers, equality in management, privilege, which is to provide support and help in a task, formal management, hierarchy structure. This will help and further strengthen management in the organization to run smoothly. According to researchers Gordon Brown and Taneja said, Fayol's 14 principles, as published in their 1949 English translation, are more relevant today and coherent with current models and theories of strategic leadership and management. The concept of management tools was a wellspring of ideas to improve existing their effectiveness, improve, implement, and train managers. A large part research in management today involves various concept in their management. Reuse management research methodology is better known today as action research. All managers can contribute to improving the manager's knowledge. A manager can need to good in consult data, interpret, deduct best practices and also theories. I use a few books and sources from the internet to be my references.